guys? This is the Retro Flora podcast. I'm Brenda.
And I'm Charmy, and we're just two crazy sisters with an opinion and a channel.
If you like true crime, conspiracies, and supernatural shit, then this is your channel. Well, Charmy, today I'm going to hit you with a really creepy case.
Is this sad?
All the cases are sad.
Is this really sad? Bring you to tears sad?
No, it's creepy.
Oh.
Yeah, today we're going to learn about the creepy and mysterious death in room 1046. So let's jump right in. On Wednesday, January 2nd, 1935, 88 years ago, around 1:20 p.m., a man named Ronald T. Owens checked into the Hotel President in Kansas in room 1046. The man looked to be between 20 to 35 years of age. He had brown hair, was dressed in a black coat, and a scar on his scalp that was above his cauliflower ear. And if you don't know what a cauliflower ear, it's like a deformity to the outer ear, usually caused by an injury. So basically, cauliflower ear may occur when the blood that collects in the outer ear after an injury isn't drained properly or becomes infected. And I'm sure
it looks weird.
Yeah, yeah.
I would not have known that.
Yeah, when I saw that, I was like, what the heck is a cauliflower ear? I don't know why I just thought of it was an ear that got chewed out. And the shape of a cauliflower. It kind of
does look like cauliflower.
I guess.
A little bit.
A few people reported Owen was acting a little strange. The bellboy Randall Prost helped Owen to his room. He noticed that Owen didn't have any luggage with him, only a toothbrush, a comb, and toothpaste. The maid, Mary Soptic, said Owen allowed her to clean the room while he was still in it. He then left and asked her to keep the door unlocked on her way out because his friend would be here soon. Mary said Owen kept the shades drawn, the lights off, and had one dim lamp on. Many of the other staff members confirmed this detail. So it's kind of weird that because when you think of hotels and the maid comes and cleans, she usually does it while you're not in the room.
Yeah.
So she would be in the room and he would just be just sitting there
watching her.
Not even watching her. He's
really?
Just sitting there.
Yeah,
he's weird. Mary got the vibe Owen was acting like he was worried or afraid. Around 4 p.m., Mary returned to the room with fresh towels and found Owen laying on the bed, fully dressed in the dark with the door unlocked. She was startled when she saw him because she didn't think he was there. There was a notepad next to the bed with a note that said, "Dawn, I will be back in 15 minutes. Wait." The next morning on January 3rd, around 10:30 a.m., Mary went back to clean the room. She noticed the door was locked from the outside, so she assumed Owen was out. When she opened the door, she found Owen once again sitting in the dark, which meant that somebody else locked him in there from the outside.
Wait, so she came in and it was locked?
No, the door was locked from the outside. I guess back then you were able to lock the hotel from the door from the outside.
I'm so happy that doesn't happen now.
Yeah, so the person basically locked him into the room.
Oh, okay.
So that's what, yeah, he was locked in a room, which is kind of creepy. While she was cleaning the room, the phone rang and Owen answered it. He said, quote, "No, Dawn, I don't want to eat. I'm not hungry. I just had breakfast." And again he repeated, "No, I'm not hungry," end quote. Mary returned to the room again at 4 p.m. to bring him fresh towels.
Is it me or is this maid coming to this room a lot?
Well, she only comes twice a day. So once to clean the room, and then the second time is when they're passing out all the new towels and stuff like that. I guess back then they didn't do it all in one.
Yeah, it was they do it all in once now.
Yeah, they do. Back then, I guess not. She could hear men talking from outside the room. She knocked and a deep voice asked, "Who is it?" She told them she had fresh towels, but the man said, "We don't need any." Mary thought it was strange because she knew there was no towels in the room. Jean Owen, the guest in the room 1048, told police she heard voices from males and a female cursing on the 10th floor. It was also important to note that there was also a party going on in room 1055. So supposedly a witness heard loud cussing coming from two men and a woman. But we don't know for sure if it was the people in 1046 because 1055 was also having a party.
Yeah, how could she hear that?
Yeah, so I mean, we don't know if what she heard came from the party or came from them. Yes. The next morning on January 4th, around 7 a.m., the hotel's phone operator, Della Ferguson, noticed the phone in room 1046 was off the hook. Della sent Randolph, the bellboy, to room 1046. Randolph knocked on the door despite the do not disturb sign being up. He heard a low voice say, "Come in and turn the lights on." But the door was locked and no one came to unlock it for him. So Randall knocked again, repeatedly, and told Owen to put the phone back on the hook. Before leaving, he told Della that Owen was probably drunk and to wait an hour.
Why an hour?
I don't know, I guess to give him some time out of his drunken stupor. I don't know! At 8:30 a.m., the phone was still off the hook, so another bellboy named Harold Pike was sent to room 1046. The do not disturb sign was still on the door, however, Harold had the room key, so he let himself in. Using the light from the hallway, Harold saw Owen laying naked in the dark, apparently drunk. He was able to see some dark spots on the bed, but instead of turning on the lights, he went to the phone, which had been knocked onto the floor. He picked it up and put it on the stand, then put the phone back on the hook. Around 10:30 to 10:45 a.m., the phone was again off the hook. Randolph was sent again back to room 1046 to see what was going on. Again, the do not disturb sign was still up. He used the key after knocking and getting no answer. And when he let himself in, he was horrified at what he saw. When he opened the door, he found Owen on his knees and elbows. Within 2 feet of the door, he had his bloodied head in his hands. Randolph turned the lights on and saw blood on the walls, the ceiling, in the bathroom, and on the bed. He immediately left the room and went to get help. He returned with the assistant manager, but they could only open the door 6 inches. Owen had fallen on the floor. Somehow, he had moved himself. The 2 men forced their way in and moved Owen to the bathroom and sat him on the edge of the tub. He had been tied up with a cord around his neck, wrists, and ankles. There was extensive damage done to Owen. He had been stabbed in the chest multiple times and his lung was punctured. He had a skull fracture on the right side and had severe bruising on his neck, like someone tried to strangle him.
Whoever did this did a terrible job.
I don't think they're
trying to kill him?
No, I think they're like beating him up.
They stabbed him.
Yeah, I think they were like trying to teach him a lesson or something.
Like, I'm gonna beat you.
Or maybe they did like just beat him up and left him to die. Like they were just like, you're gonna die a slow death.
But okay, I don't get is the phone keeps going off the hook.
Yeah.
Like, was that Harold trying to get not Harold? What's the guy's name?
Owen.
Owen trying to get help.
That's what I'm thinking. That he's like trying to get help. Like the first time when he told him to come in, like he couldn't. Probably was so badly beaten that he couldn't get up. And I think.
But the dude literally walked in. He couldn't say help me. You said come in, but you couldn't say help me.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's so creepy. Because it's like Owen isn't like when he knocked, he wasn't like come in and help me. I'm bleeding or anything like that.
Yeah.
He just was so
that
calm.
And also means that the first time they came in, he was, I don't know to the extent of his injuries, but did the people come back, beat him up some more? Like,
I don't think so. I think
that's why I'm like, but it was also time between him putting the receiver on, putting the receiver back on the hook, and then leaving, and then at 8 p.m. it happened again. Like, why you wait so
8
long?
a.m.
8 a.m. it happened again. So why did you wait so long? Owen.
Charmy, this person got beat up. Like, I feel like they're putting all their strength in just to like do stuff.
And I get that, but you said come in. You
yeah,
couldn't say
that's why
help
I said
me.
And that's why I said he's acting very weird because it's not he's not trying to get help. Either that or he must think like the people who did this are listening. Because I'm trying to figure out why he wasn't being specific about what's going on.
I don't know. It seems very weird to me.
Yeah, this whole case is weird. The assistant manager called the police, and when they arrived, they had with them Dr. Harold Flanders of the Kansas City General Hospital. When asked by the doctor who did this to him,
how the doctor don't go know who did it?
No, they're asking Owen.
Oh. I'm about to say when. Oh, okay. Never mind.
A barely conscious Owen said nobody. And then when asked what happened, Owen said he fell and hit his head on the bathtub.
Bitch, we know you lying.
Yeah, because like, here's the deal. For Owen to have fallen and hit his head on the bathtub.
Why is there blood everywhere else?
For the blood to be everywhere, like on the ceiling, on the walls, he would have had to like fall and hit his head, got up, jumped on the bed.
Yes.
Just like had the blood flinging
just go
everywhere.
Crazy.
Yeah, and then laid down on the bed and was just like, yay. And then went in the bathroom and span around and then came back in there. Yeah. No, like.
No one heard him get his ass kicked.
There's a party going on, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Owen fell unconscious, and he was rushed to the hospital where he died from his injuries just after midnight. So, what I think is crazy is that if they would have found him earlier, I wonder if he would have still been alive. Like, if they would have...
You mean if he just said, help me?
Yeah, but I mean, like, if they would have, like, the guy who came in there and put the phone on the hook.
Yeah, I do feel like it's weird that he just put the phone hook. But sees a guy naked on the ground and does nothing.
No, he's naked on the bed.
On the bed and does nothing.
I mean, like, but to be fair, like, how creepy is it to come into the room, there's a naked guy on the bed, and he keeps knocking the phone over? Like, I would want to get in and get the hell out of there.
I don't know. I do feel like that was weird and sketchy.
I would have been like, is this some type of setup? Like, I don't like this. Yeah, it's weird. Police began their investigation into Owens' murder. They searched room 1046. There was no clothing, no weapons, and all the complimentary hotel items such as soap and towels were all missing. One glass in the room was missing a piece and was left sitting on the sink. The only other items in the room were a hairpin, an unsmoked cigarette, and a full bottle of diluted sulfuric acid. Sorry, I don't know why I said it like that. Isn't that kind of weird? Like, why do they have diluted sulfuric acid?
And why do they take everything else but that?
I think the whole point is, like, he really didn't bring it much with him. So
no, but, like, stuff the hospital had was missing. The hotel had was missing, too.
Oh, yeah. Why they took the soap and the towels, I don't know.
But you forgot the sulfuric acid.
Maybe they used the soap to, like, clean up their, like, them from, like, Owen's blood and the towels, and they didn't want to leave evidence, so they took it. Like,
they could have cleaned up the blood, too.
They said that's way too much because Owen was jumping on the bed. Yeah, I don't know. That is weird to take the soap in his house, but like I said, if they're trying to like keep like hide evidence, I guess, even though back then there wasn't really DNA testing, so I don't really know what they could have did with that, but I don't know. The only fingerprints lifted from the scene were from the phone, but they were too small to be identified. The blood on the wall, ceiling, bed, and bathroom were all dried, indicating that the attack took place between 4 and 5 a.m.
Then he called at 4?
He called at 7, so it took him like 2 hours to like knock that phone off the receiver after,
Well, okay, the weird thing is that he knocked the phone off the receiver, but he's like on the bed at the same time.
Like, he probably like, the phone is probably next to like, not like the bed has like a little, he probably just knocked it off
the floor. But then the second time he knocks it off and then crawls and sits right in front of the door.
Yeah,
that's just like, you had all that energy to do all that.
Yeah, I don't know. Actually, I'm not Owen. I don't know. I told you this case was weird. I don't know why he did the things he did. I can't explain them. Like, they're weird. But who was Ronald T. Owen? When he was checking in, Owen told hotel employees he was from LA, but when investigators tried to locate a Ronald T. Owen in LA, there was no trace of anyone with that name. Now, keep in mind, this is the 1930s, so
records might not be that good.
Right, and having a fake identity is so easy back then. Like, there's really not much to really identify you except for papers that could be forged. So
yeah.
Newspapers printed illustrations and descriptions of Owen in the paper to try and identify him. Many tips came in, but none helped to identify him. On March 3rd, 1935, newspapers announced that Owen would be buried in a potter's field, which is where they buried like transits, the poor, or people whose identity they didn't know.
Okay.
The Melody McGillen Funeral Home received an anonymous call saying they would send money to have him buried properly in the Memorial Park Cemetery in Kansas City, Kansas. The caller claimed that Owen would be buried near his sister. So, like, whoever this caller is kind of, like, dropping hints. And it's kind of hard because you don't know if they're, like...
telling the truth.
Right. You know what I mean? But apparently they don't want him in a potter's field. They are ready to drop money so that he can have a proper burial.
So, follow the money.
Yeah, well, this is cash, so...
Oh, well, then just, like, stalk the funeral home until that guy comes with money.
I guess I don't know. They didn't do that. I don't even know if the funeral home told the police this happened yet. So the funeral home could have probably been like, somebody weird is calling and they just left it like that. I don't know.
They ain't doing their job.
Look, I'm being frank with you. We have a lot of crime stuff. So like, if this would happen nowadays, we'd be like, yo, look, somebody is calling and saying some weird stuff, like tap the phone lines. But back then, they're probably just like, teenagers will be teenagers. Like, because I'm sure this story is pretty big in the city, because
Yeah, that's freaking weird.
Yeah, it is. He claimed that Owen was engaged to a woman, but cheated, and that led to his bloody murder. He said, quote, "Cheaters usually get what's coming to them," end quote, then hung up. The funeral home reported this to the police. Oh, I guess they did report it. Well, the police didn't do anything, so... On March 23rd, the funeral home received an envelope containing $25, flowers, and a card saying, "Love forever, Luis."
$25 got you buried?
Yeah, it covered the funeral.
It's not like today.
Not like today. Owen was laid to rest with the local police serving as pallbearers and no visitors. Yeah, so I don't know who this Luis is, but
she got cheated on.
Maybe, yeah, apparently. In 1936, over a year after Owen had been buried, a woman named Ruby Ogletree contacted the Kansas Police Department. She said a friend of hers saw a news article about Owen's murder, and the man looked a lot like Ruby's son, Artemis Ogletree. Ruby told police that Artemis had a scar above his ear from a hot grease accident. She then told police that he left their home in Birmingham, Alabama in 1934 to hitchhike to California. Artemis was only 17 years old. Ruby told police she received 3 letters from her son in the spring of 1935, which would have been after Ogletree's death. They were all typed, which was strange because Owen did not know how to type.
But, okay, I'm not saying typing isn't hard, but as long as you know the alphabet.
Yeah, but we also don't know how typewriters were back then. Like, I don't, like, yeah, but like putting them in, all that stuff, like, I don't know. I guess she was basically saying like her son never got...
He never typed before?
He didn't have that knowledge, I think is what she's trying to say. Like, he never was educated on how to use a typewriter. Maybe using a typewriter wasn't common for everybody back then.
Man, I know how to use it now.
You live in 2023. You're not from 1935. I'm saying, like, maybe it wasn't a common household thing, so people didn't learn how to use it. Like, when computers first came out, that wasn't common. Like, learning how to type, if you didn't have a computer, it's kind of like, I don't know how to type. I mean, you could learning the keyboard, learning the space, learning the back buttons, all those type of things, but like that knowledge wasn't given to you because you stared at the keyboard. Like, you had to put it into practice.
I don't know.
But she's saying that he didn't know how to type, so she thought it was strange that she was getting typed letters from him. The letters were postmarked from Chicago, New York, and one letter claimed Artemis was heading to Europe. She also received a strange phone call from Memphis, Tennessee, from a man claiming he knew her son, and that Artemis saved his life in a fight. He said Artemis was married to a wealthy woman and was living in Egypt. He told Ruby that in the fight, Artemis's thumbs were cut off, and that's why all the letters were typed.
Okay, what?
Yeah.
So someone typed for him. Are they saying that?
No, they're saying that because his thumbs were cut off, he couldn't write, so he was typing. Which, I don't know how... First of all, we know it's a lie because he's dead. So, like, by this time, all the stuff she's receiving, Artemis has already died.
Yeah.
So I don't know who this person is, but they're trying to make it seem like, so obviously they know his real identity because they're contacting his mother. So they know he's not Roland T. Owen and that he's actually Artemis Ogletree. So I'm thinking it's the killer contacting her and trying to make it seem like he just left and doesn't want to, like, he has his own life and he's not coming back. Basically trying to make it seem like he's still alive.
Girl, they know he did.
I mean, now they do, but at the time when she was receiving this, no, she didn't know that he wasn't dead. After some time, information came out that Artemis also stayed at the St. Regis in Kansas City with another man, possibly Don. After that, there was no leads. So basically, this case is unsolved.
Yeah, I can see why.
There's some theories, but there's not a lot of weight backing up a lot of theories. One theory is that Don beat Artemis to death alone. For whatever reason, we don't really know. But
yeah,
we know that there was somebody else in that room because the maid heard two men talking, and then even he told her, like, yeah, we don't need none of that fresh towels.
He said we.
Yeah, so
instead of I.
Plus, she said his voice was deep, so I'm assuming she's describing a different voice than Artemis's. Yeah. The second theory is that Don had help with a murder from a female. So we know that that someone called anonymously and they clearly knew who this person was because they're willing to pay for their funeral, even saying that they're being buried in there, they would be buried near their sister. So they're thinking that it could be related to him cheating, quote unquote. And that female came and helped and, helped on stabbing him and all that
I mean,
stuff.
all these aren't like they're just like theories that aren't detailed. Like,
Yeah, I mean,
it's just this guy got beat up and killed. This guy got beat up with a female accomplice and got killed. Like,
I mean, the only details about the female accomplice are the
cheating
rumors or the cheating information that was given to the mortuary. But
that could also be like mistaken identity.
But also they received a card and it said "Forever, Love Forever, Luis." So that also may play into why they think a woman had something to do with this.
Yeah. That's the last one.
It was just that Artemis was killed for being unfaithful.
This seems like, I don't know. It seems like he was in some sketchy stuff. It seemed like mobs kind of stuff.
I feel like it's not mob because it's too sloppy. Like, we know how mobs are. They don't leave a lot of evidence like that. Like, there wouldn't be blood splatter on the wall because they would have literally had like plastic on the floor, wrapped this person's body up, and you wouldn't have even found him. Like, mob hits, usually you don't find the body unless they want you to find the body. But even then, like, he's not even a body yet. Like, he's still alive. Mm-hmm. This seems like personal. Like, the attack seemed personal. All them stab wounds, being tied up. Like, this person was beating the fuck out of him. And this was personal. For what reason, I don't know. But
I guess I just have to wait and ask God what really happened.
I'm not even gonna ask. I don't want to know. This is so weird. Clearly, people know what happened to him. Somebody know what happened to him. He didn't tie himself up and do that. So that's pretty much all the information there is. You still think this is mob related?
I don't know what to think. I feel like he was into some sketchy stuff and that he got killed for it.
I feel like this is a crime of passion, just about just how the evidence is, like the no cleanup. Like, it was just kind of like they beat the hell out of him. And
but they did clean up.
I mean, the towels and soap were missing, but that's the only thing that was missing. That just I made an assumption that maybe they used it to clean themselves up, but there was so much blood and on the walls, the bathroom, the ceiling, the bed. Like, they just was beating him and didn't care about like it. They weren't being like careful about it. That's why I feel like it's a crime of passion. Like, it just happened. Like, maybe they got into a heated discussion. Mm-hmm. Like that lady in the room said, she heard a heated discussion.
I have a question. I don't know if you know this, but was Artemis / Owen, when the second time they came in, was he dressed?
They only came in one time. Remember the first time he knocked on the door, he said come in and turn the lights on, but the guy didn't have a key and he waited for him to open the door, but he didn't, so he just told him put the phone back on the line and he left.
But then he came back, he opened the door.
A different dude came back.
Yeah, so when he came and he walked in, he was naked, right? Mm-hmm. And so the last time when they opened the door, he was in front of the door. Was he still naked?
I'm assuming yeah, because it didn't say that he had clothes on, so I'm assuming he was still naked. But I'm trying to figure out, and maybe because he only had the light from the hallway, why he couldn't see he was tied up.
Tied up on the bed?
Yeah, because
But then that would mean how he get untied.
He didn't get untied. Remember, they found him and he was tied up.
But you said so he was tied up on the bed, not strapped to bed, just tied up on the bed.
I'm just saying he was tied up, but they found him laying naked on the bed. So I'm trying to figure out why he didn't see him tied up. But then again, he only had the light from the hallway.
I don't know. It just sounds very weird.
I guess, yeah.
Because you're on the bed tied up, and then you're on the floor tied up. And how did you change that position?
Girl, I don't know. That's freaking me out, though.
Yeah, like, I feel like, what if, like, they were still in there? That's what I'm thinking about.
Oh, my God, I'm scared.
Like, what if they, like, he opened the door, and they were still in there, and, like, they're just being very quiet, and he just put the phone back on the hook and left? Like, what if he turned on the lights and they attacked him? That'd be, like, what other reason would you stay quiet for?
I don't know, because I'm trying to figure out why.
Because he walked in the room.
Not even just that, like, he wasn't giving up any information when asked about, like, what happened. So he's protecting, he said nobody. It's like he wanted to protect these people, or either that, or he was so scared that he felt like he had to. But at that point, you're about to die, so I just started singing like a canary.
Well, I'm dead anyway.
Like,
this didn't, this time, this person, this height, this weight, this, which they're wearing.
And I know he was barely conscious, so that's the other thing. But even barely conscious, he had enough sense to lie.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This case freaks me out, you guys. It gives me the heebie-jeebies.
Heebie-jeebies.
You know I'm a Scooby-Doo lover. Yeah, so that case freaks me out. I remember when I first heard that case, I couldn't sleep that night. Even though I know this case happened like over like 80 years ago, the thought is just weird. It's so many unanswered questions. so much missing information that it just freaks me out. Because like you said, now I'm thinking about it, like if they were still in the room, like whoever it was, that would be so scary. The bell boy would have known because he didn't turn lights on. And low-key is giving me that vibe, like that story where it's like, aren't you glad you didn't turn on the lights type vibe, like scaring me.
That's where I thought this was going.
Girl, I would have died. I would have shit my pants. Like, well, you've made it to the end.
You must really like the sounds of our high-pitched verses and quirky commentary.
You might as well like and subscribe to our channel and hit the bell to be notified every time we drop new content. If you want to follow our social medias, they will be linked in the description box below. Sorry, you guys.
Bye.
Love you. Peace. Be careful in hotels, motels, whatever.